Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here. So, as some of you may know, just last month, CarX Street finally released on console, more specifically on the Xbox Series platform. However, just a month later, it is now finally here on the PlayStation 5. I will say, over the past month, I have been grinding through this game on Xbox, learning all the ins and outs about this unique open world racer, as I was a complete newbie to the series. And from what I have read, according to many online communities, CarX Street has quite a deep learning curve. So therefore, my first impressions of this game on Xbox was more from a player who had many hours playing other open world racing series like Forza Horizon and Need for Speed, and trying to translate everything I knew from those games into this title. And it's clear after spending hours upon hours on CarX Street, many of my initial opinions have indeed changed. Not only that, the PS5 release also included a couple more new updates and improvements compared to the Xbox launch last month, and in today's video, I'll be giving you my initial thoughts and impressions on how the game is on the PlayStation 5, but this time from a player who has a far better and deeper understanding of this title as well. Just quickly, thanks to CarX technology, I do have two game codes to give away for this game on the PlayStation 5, one for the Americas region and one for the Europe region. To enter, it's simple. All you must do is like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and comment down below which car you are most looking forward to customizing, as well as your PlayStation ID, and the winners will be announced on my channel in the next 48 hours. Don't worry, I have plenty more codes left to give away very soon, including those who play on Xbox as well. So good luck to everyone. Now, the version in which CarX Street launched on the PS5 was update 1.7.2, whereas Xbox Series players got the earlier 1.7.0 build, so it's not exactly fair to make a direct comparison between the two platforms for the game's release. However, with that said, that extra month in which PS5 players had to wait was certainly the right move, as the overall gameplay experience on PS5, especially if you are new to this series, felt noticeably more refined. Look, I understand that update 1.7.2 is also available for Xbox Series players right now, so technically both platforms have been brought up to date with the same update. But for anyone on PlayStation who might have seen early Xbox reviews and gotten the impression that the game needed some improvements in certain areas, let me assure you, a lot has changed. One of the most significant improvements are the tire physics. Introduced in update 1.7.2, this overhaul completely changed how the cars handle. It's made steering each car far more predictable and responsive. One of the biggest issues I had when I first played this game on Xbox was just how twitchy and inconsistent the handling felt. One moment everything would be smooth, then the next the car would randomly snap in the opposite direction, completely throwing off certain corners I'm in or even transitioning in between drifts. But now I genuinely feel like the car is more subdued in a good way. There's actual feedback, I can sense the grip, modulate my throttle mid-drift, and corner without the fear of some random input spike throwing my car in the opposite direction. Combine this with update 1.7.1's update where surface irregularities have been improved, this makes driving and racing around the entire map a totally different experience, because not only are the cars now far more predictable to handle, but any bumps or curves you might want to go over just to gain that extra second also won't cause your vehicle to potentially catapult in a completely unpredictable or unrealistic manner. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, these improvements aren't exclusive to PS5 players only. Xbox and PC players will also get to enjoy these improvements as well. But some of you may be wondering, are there any subtle differences between Xbox and PlayStation 5? Well, there are. First is the controller. As someone who primarily plays arcade races like CarX Street on a gamepad, the first thing I noticed was the vibrations on the PlayStation 5 controller was far more noticeable and robust. I felt more of the surface I was driving on, but more importantly when my car was losing traction or fighting for grip. In fact, the difference was so noticeable that when I played CarX Street on Xbox, I thought I had my vibrations turned off. Honestly, it's truly night and day. The only thing I will say that I wasn't a big fan of are indeed the adaptive triggers. I don't know, for me, I just can't get used to them. Maybe I'm just getting too old. It's the same when I was playing Forza Horizon 5 on the PlayStation 5. I just simply can't play with this feature on. But thankfully, within the in-game options, you can decide to turn them off, which I did. Whereas on Xbox, toggling this option really makes zero difference. But apart from that, the feedback that comes through the gamepad on the PS5 is brilliant. Now, when it comes to graphics, between the consoles that I played on, which were the Xbox Series X and the PS5 Pro, visually speaking, there were no significant differences at all. Both platforms still suffered from major texture pop-ins, which gets annoying after a while, but that's something for CarX technology to sort out in a future update should it become their priority. The performance on the PS5 Pro, from my experience, and I haven't done any real technical testing, so I could be factually wrong here, but given the extra horsepower of the Pro console compared to the Series X, I did notice that there was no stuttering at all. There were zero moments where the frame rates would drop in certain parts of the map, like I had initially experienced when CarX Street launched on the Xbox. Even now with update 1.7.2, it seems like the game does run smoother on the Xbox Series X on all parts of the map, but there's still subtle moments where the game would suffer, whereas the PS Pro has been a completely smooth experience. But other than that, I can't really find too many other differences between the Xbox Series platform and the PlayStation 5. And if you are someone who owns a PS5 and is looking for another open world racer other than Forza Horizon 5, as I said previously in my Xbox impressions video, this game is certainly great value for money. The developers, CarX Technology, have really been putting in the work to continuously improve this game, especially now that it's officially launched on consoles. Remember, the team is tiny, we're talking around 20 developers, and for them to pull off an open world street racing game where every single car has deep layered customization and tuning options, it's nothing short of impressive. From the time CarX Street launched on Xbox just last month until now, we've already seen a bunch of meaningful quality of life improvements. Things like adjustable field of view across all camera angles, the option to partially or fully disable driving assist, the ability to reduce turbo pressure for better tuning, and so much more, including the physics improvements I mentioned earlier in this video. To me, that's what matters most. The fact that this developer team isn't out there overhyping things or making big promises all over social media. They're not chasing clout. They're just trying to quietly build a racing game that hopefully over time everyone can enjoy. Now with that said, yes, there are still elements of CarX Street that people might still criticize. The first is of course the unlicensed cars. If you're someone who's really particular about having official manufacturers and real world branding for that authentic car culture experience, I get it. You might see the lack of licenses as a drawback. But here's the thing, having official car brands also comes at a cost. Once real manufacturers get involved, it immediately limits what the developers can let us do, especially when it comes to visual customizations. Suddenly, you can't throw a wide body kit or a wild spoiler on a car if the official car brand doesn't approve. Personally, I'm not bothered. We know what most of these unlicensed real-world counterpart cars are anyways, and if you don't, maybe CarX Street just isn't the game for you. Now, the second complaint is the AI voiceovers. Look, with a small team, the budget isn't massive. Hiring actual voice actors would have been incredibly expensive, so they went with AI generated voices instead. At first, I thought it sounded kind of cringy, the characters weren't memorable and some of the voice line deliveries were really awkward. But after spending so many hours with this game and realizing how many races, events and activities there are to do, honestly, I just kind of stopped caring. I mean, do I really need Oscar-worthy voiceovers in a game where I'm focusing on drifting through traffic at 100 miles per hour? Not really. as long as the driving feels good, the tuning stays deep, and the developers keep pushing constant updates. CarX Street is certainly headed in the right direction, and for an indie racer in 2025, that's more than enough for me. So those are my first impressions of CarX Street on the PlayStation 5, or more specifically on the PS5 Pro. It's also more of an update on how far CarX Street has come since moving over to the console platforms. But anyways, I hope you guys did find today's video helpful. Remember, I am giving away 2 codes on the PS5 for this game, and let us know if you are a PlayStation 5 user. Are you going to get this game or not? Let us know down in the comment section below. But anyways, if you guys did find today's video helpful, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button, as it really does help me out. And of course, if you guys would like to stay up to date with everything CarX Street related, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.